Again, early on in this race, we've completed 7 laps on lap 8, as you see the 11 of TJ Bell making his way to his pit stall.
Remember, this happened to TJ just past the trial, the racetrack, so he had to ride around for over 2.5 miles with that tire doing all that damage, and you can see right there how much damage that tire did to that right front fender.
And they're looking in there to see if they can figure out what else might be wrong.
It doesn't look like the rotor's complete on that truck.
I don't think there's a brake rotor on that truck, is there?
Looked like it was almost sheared off about halfway up on the brake rotor, which that's definitely a problem. You don't think you would use brakes at a racetrack like this, but sometimes you do. Sometimes you have to tap the brakes to stay in line with everyone.
And you certainly have to use the brakes to avoid somebody.
Let's go down to pit road and Chris Devoto.
Ricky Carmichael is in. The big concern for a lot of these teams, including the 4, was that pit road was still a little damp, so they had to play conservative fuel only for the 4 of Carmichael.
Ron Hornaday is down and away also, Krista. They came in for fuel only in the Copart Chevrolet. They told Adam Krieger, make sure you pack it. Hornaday going back to the racetrack. Adam?
And it was fuel only for pole sitter Colin Brown. He takes advantage of that #1 pit stall. He beats Eric Almirola on the first rally off the pit lane. It said Almirola may go under the hood. Nope, fuel only, no problems there.
Terry Cook must have some problems. They've got the hood up on that Cajun Industries number 25.
Looks like they're looking for something specifically. They're not just using a wrench to raise the front of the truck. They're looking for something that maybe has gone wrong with Terry's truck.
Oh, they are raising it. He must have been hitting. That's the 51 of Kyle Busch. We heard his team talking about the fact that he was bottoming out on the road, Phil. That's what Terry Cook would have been doing under the hood had he had similar problems. They were taking a wrench, raising the front of that truck up. He loved his truck yesterday in practice, said it was really fast, thought he might be one of the guys to beat. Obviously, it wasn't so good for those first 6, 7 laps. But if you're going to give up track position, this is a good place to do it.
That's the time to do it. We saw the 2-wide racing, and then there's Richie Waters, Kyle's crew chief right there. It's going to be interesting when we see this restart, because Colin Brown was able to pull that inside line and get an advantage. But when they have this restart here, obviously he's going to start from the pole, and it's going to be single file here for the last 4 races here. Then we're going to have double file restarts in 2010. It's going to be interesting to see if somebody can make a move on them.
Now, guys, while all the trucks, or most of the trucks, came onto pit road, a couple trucks stayed out there, and the Wallaces, Chrissy and Michael Wallace, stayed out on the racetrack, and so they were scored first and second just moments ago. Actually, Mike was in front of Chrissy.
I hope Mom got a picture of the scoreboard here at Talladega with her 2 trucks right up there on top of the pylon.
Again, the first father-daughter duo that have taken part in a NASCAR race. And now we see Mike Wallace leading Chrissy Wallace onto pit road. So a few trucks coming back onto pit road. Chris Devoto.
Mike Wallace down on pit road, as you said, right there, working on the crew, the Andy Hillenberg machine, Silverado for Mike Wallace. Yes, he is very good at plate tracks. Right now, not a lot of concern. He knows what to do. He knows how to use the draft to his advantage. You see the 48 pulling out. Adam.
And Chrissy Wallace has now made her way down pit road. She will get the service she needs before rejoining the field. They will wipe the windshield, and perhaps some fluid got on her windshield when that engine went down earlier in the race, but she was able to dodge the debris. They fuel the truck, and she pulls away. Compton pulls away behind her, and now Kyle Busch back in for a second stop. What they will do here is make sure the splitter is clear on the front end and pop it full of fuel one more time. We can tell you, despite the early issues for Kyle Busch, he has not been frustrated. He came over the radio and said, we've got all kinds of time to rally back to the front.
You know, a year ago, Kyle Busch was frustrated with the fact that he was leading and couldn't figure out how to win the race. He said, I don't know how to win these darn races. I don't know if I lay back, if I try to charge forward, but he wasn't able to stay out front.
Remember the same thing happened to him at Daytona. He had a chance to win the race on the last lap, ran into the guy lead, ran into Todd, but couldn't figure out how to pass him. And I think about the same thing happened again when he came here.
That almost looks like a perplexed Kevin Harvick on top of the pit box. Ray Dunlap.
Well, Rick, I was about to add actually on Terry Cook on the number 25. He came into the pits there, put 4 tires on that Cajun Industries Toyota, and the situation for him was a vibration in the front. So Danny Rollins calling for 4 tires on that round of the pit stop. We'll tell you if things get better for Terry here shortly.
So Terry Cook Looks like he's got a lot of trucks he's going to have to get back by if he wants to get back up toward the front. Again, starting on the outside of row number 1 when this race started. Our first caution came out when TJ Bell had problems with the right front tire, put a little debris on the racetrack. They've cleaned that off, and now coming to the green flag, it will be the 41 of Chris Jones that is leading this field just in front of Colin Brown.
Ready. Now, Colin's not going to sit there, is he, Phil? He's going to try to jump on Chris Jones as soon as they say go. Chris got a good start on Colin. Oh, look at there.
Green flag back in the air. Chris Jones with a pretty good jump goes down to the bottom of the racetrack. We'll see if he stays down there.
That's going to be too big a jump, though. He doesn't want that much gap. Watch when Colin gets to him. He's just going to pull the train right around the outside.
You don't want to get a good jump. When he took off like that, you sort of knew what was going to happen. You want to keep those trucks bunched up behind you. Make them push you off on the start so that they can't get that big run. Chris fell back out of the top 5. And still falling.
Looks like Eric Almirola right now is continuing to see Kyle Busch pushing Stacy Compton up through there. Right now, Eric Almirola is patiently riding behind the 6 of Colin Brown, hoping that maybe they can get lined up again like they were at the beginning of the race.
Did you see Terry Cook looming right behind Kyle Busch? He saw what was happening there, wanted to be a part of that little gig.
We have a few different clumps of trucks on the racetrack now. Here's a pretty good sized pack.
Chris Jones made a nice move.
He got just in front of that 4, Ricky Carmichael, and has moved into that 5th spot.
He was falling back quickly and found him a hole to jump in, and now leading that 2nd group up.
We've got 4 trucks that have somewhat broken away from the pack, but I'm sure in just a matter of moments that pack will catch right back up to them, right along with Timothy Peters.
That's the Toyota onboard right there. Look at 3 wide. You see Kyle Busch leading that group on the outside. Now he's going to have a little help in front of him. Rick Crawford pulled up to the outside. Kyle will be able to draft off him a little bit once he catches up.
We've seen that before where Matt Crafton will move out to the outside, hoping that he gets some help out there, and he just continues to drop back in that high line.
Well, that's a great view from the blimp right there.
It kind of looked like Frogger, didn't it?
Goodyear providing our aerial coverage. The official tire of NASCAR. Giving us some beautiful shots.
Look at that run that truck going around the outside of Ricky Carmichael has. That's Johnny Sauter. The 13 truck is going to bring the 17 of Timothy Peters. And there's Kyle in the 51. Kyle has made a major move since his pit stop.
Look the way they just shucked Ricky Carmichael. They just left him sitting still and drove right around him. Ricky's thinking, man, why didn't y'all follow me with all that momentum?
Here comes the outside line. Looks like a little more momentum. Johnny Sauter's going to come up to the back of that 5 of Mike Skinner. Actually going to go by the 5 of Mike Skinner. Put him in the middle.
Here now Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch will move to the back of the 5. Oh, problems with an engine.
That's a 71 truck. Robert Richardson right there. Looks like he expired an engine. Right at the beginning of the trial, caution flag is out for the 2nd time.
What a great job by all the competitors that were behind Richardson, and Richardson as well. No one panicked, Phil. That thing blew up. Everybody just sort of let off the gas, held their line, and no one got turned around.
And I'm sure Robert Richardson has come to a stop because he can't see. Smoke has consumed the cockpit of this race truck, and we saw the steering wheel coming off. He looks like he's going to try to jump out of that vehicle. Let's take another look at what happened. Again, it's the pumpkin on the hood.
Look at McCumbee sitting there. Just the whole world looks like ended right in his lap. But yet he was able to calmly make his way to the outside of the truck of Richardson. And Dennis Setzer right behind. You know, it could have turned into a chain reaction event, and it didn't. That's just good heads-up driving.
What a nice job by Robert Richardson, though. Obviously, watch how quick he gets down out of the way here to the apron of the racetrack.
Heads down out of the line of traffic.
He's running over 180 miles an hour. Remember that.
Right along with Rick Crawford just in front of him. You're going to see the smoke.
Rick said, boy, I'm glad I wasn't in that line.
So our 2nd caution has taken place at Talladega Superspeedway. Both of them have been single truck incidents, thankfully. We'll be right back with more Mountain Dew 250 presented on Speed by Yamaha.